As far as small business goes, I like to think of it in two ways. There's business to business and there's business to consumer. Frank, you had some interesting things to say before about businesses who buy trucks. Some of them are servicing the consumer and some of them are business to business. Where do you see the strength in truck sales and small business activity coming from?
Well, I think the biggest place that we see the growth is the commercial side of the business is definitely getting stronger. The residential side of the business, which is like consumer spending, some of the people that were spending money that they didn't necessarily own, which was money that they got from home equities upon home equities, those customers have been depleted of the cash that they had. The business to business is starting to pick up, and I think a lot of the business that we see that is improving is because of mismanaged businesses. Businesses have gone away, which creates a vacuum for the businesses that are strong to now fill in and to really take advantage
Darwinism.
of that.
Darwinism at its best, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Now tell me a little bit about your industry. There's been a lot of consolidation, a lot of people have disappeared. Where does that, if I may ask you, where does that leave Capo Trucks
Well,
in this sector?
In our industry, there's been three major competitors of ours. They've been in business for more than some of them 57 years. One of my competitors, 57 years, a very well-run business for that amount of time. GM, General Motors, decided not to manufacture trucks anymore. So, you know, here's a family that's been supporting the economy and has done a tremendous job in giving jobs and having a foothold in the community, and now they're left with no product. So those people, the people that they've sold to for the last 50 years, 57 years.
They're going to you.
Some of them are coming to us, and we have to service these people, and
Well,
we
absolutely.
have to do the best that we can to service these people properly.
I have clients all over the country, operate in 14 different states, and I spoke with a couple of clients. I spoke, with Jeff from Kentucky, who owns a well-known residential and commercial real estate brokerage firm, Phil from Illinois, who's a surgeon and a partner in a major medical group, and Steve from Kansas, who is in the natural gas industry. All business owners, they hire, they fire, they spend money in their businesses, and they all basically had the same concern. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. They don't understand the new healthcare legislation and how it affects their businesses, and as a result, it's another reason for them to hold off on hiring new employees. So how does healthcare legislation, it's like a tongue twister, how does it affect your businesses? Frank, what does that do for you?
So far, I haven't recognized the impact of it yet. I haven't really seen it, to be honest with you. I've been working in the same healthcare services that we've used before, and we're under 50 employees, so it hasn't really affected me that I know of.
Okay, so
yet.
so we just push ahead, and whatever comes down the pike, and that's all we can do about it, right?
That's it.
Well, I kind of agree with Frank, and I've spoke to a lot of my clients, and I believe that a lot of them are making excuses for reasons not to push their business forward. Oh, this healthcare legislation. There are changes in the laws which spread out all the way to 2018. You can't plan that far ahead. So you need to kind of use what's in front of you and do the best that you can with it. There are some good parts of the legislation, but if you're not over 50 employees, a lot of it doesn't impact you. And if you look at an average sized small business, believe it or not, it's under 10 employees. So all this grumbling and complaining about the legislation, if people are looking for the government to solve their problems, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, they need to start thinking about another plan, because they're not here to help us. We might think that they're here to help us in that way, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. We need to help ourselves.
Agreed. Financial regulation. Russell, you see how that affects anybody yet?
I probably have somewhat of a cynical take on this, but the only people who benefit that I see from the financial and securities market legislative changes are the SEC attorneys, the SEC staff, and the internal people at the brokerage firms or the print shops or whoever is impacted by that in their daily lives. I've yet to meet a single investor who's ever actually read a prospectus, who knows what quarterly reports are, who actually rely upon quarterly reports, who participate in earnings calls. A lot of that, with all due respect, is why we rely upon people like you. The SEC has lost its way in protecting the investor. For an overall business perspective, it's a complete waste of resources, and it's just not protecting the investors. If that is your objective, that you come to the table saying, I believe I have an affirmative duty to protect the average American investor when they go and play in the capital markets. Okay, that's fine. On the good end of things, there's a review and comment period that's out right now for changes in the definition of an accredited investor. An accredited investor is a concept that's used when you do non-public security offerings. The definition of accredited investor was $1 million net worth or more. Well, take our little protected market. You can put a blanket over the town of Dix Hills. The entire town now qualifies as an accredited investor because the real estate markets drive up and boom, they're qualified. Once you become an accredited investor, the investor protection standards are basically gone.
It's an outdated standard.
I can sell to you on no real information, and I'm thoroughly protected. So the positive moves that you're seeing, those thresholds are going to be bumped up. You're finally going to have real economic tests so that if you want to invest in a private deal and you're not going to have the, what I call the over-regulated aspect of it, that's fine. Now you'll get some real protection. But overall, I don't see anybody really benefiting from the financial services.
What do you say to a small business owner whose business has grown and they want to raise capital? They want to maybe do a private placement,
Okay.
then they want to go to another private placement, mezzanine financing, what have you, and then they want to go public. What do you say to them?
Most people, a lot of the times I'll see people come in and it's amazing. After you watch the markets expand from 96 to 2000 and then burst and then expand and then burst again, you still hear the phrase IPO, they still go bonkers. It's like all of a
Still
sudden
do.
someone's going to show up with a bucket of cash for you. There's cash, it's not yours, it belongs to the company, and now you have mountains of bills and regulatory issues that you didn't know. Doesn't mean that it's not appropriate for some people. It is very much appropriate when your business gets to a certain level or you find yourself in a certain type of business. But when you need capital, it's like anything else with clients. The most important thing is communication. You need to find out what the client really wants to get out of the deal.
There's still people out there who want to start businesses.
Yeah.
They want to invest in businesses. They want to start, really create the American dream. They want to start that dream moving forward, growing businesses from technology to green businesses. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Maybe they don't all go the IPO route, but I'm always inspired by seeing these people come up with ideas and try to grow them into businesses, and they reach out for money and they develop marketing plans and they develop other plans to really capture that idea and move it forward. And I know Rob's talked to a lot of entrepreneurs and what he's talking about the gathering of information and the creating of a community of entrepreneurs. I think we got to band together as small business people and really help each other move to the next level.